recording this, so I'm starting the recording. I believe it is recording pending. Okay, there we go. So I am now recording. So just letting you know, it is recording. So awesome. So hello, everyone. I'm going to stand up here. There are people that are both physically here and then people that are digital. It reminds me of when we were in Plan B. So thankfully, I've got a lot of experience talking to a group and a computer. So you can't go back. So hi, everybody. I believe we have all met, but just in case you're watching the video and we have not met, I am Ian Sullivan. I am the theater teacher here at Hickory Ridge High School. This is my 6th year here. This is my 13th year teaching public school, and it is going into my 19th year as a theater educator. I was a theater education major at UNCC. I started working with Children's Theater of Charlotte in the summer of 2003, where I have continued on as a teaching artist and a director. Once I got my undergrad, I went and taught at North Iredell High School from 2006 until 2014. I took or 2015. I think it's 2014. And then I took a year and worked for the Ballantine Arts Center with their preschool of the arts and their enrichment classes, as well as a director. And then after that year, I came here to Hickory Ridge. I continued to work at the Ballantine Arts Center until they unfortunately closed up shop right around COVID. Unfortunately, they kind of went under, but I do still work for Children's Theater of Charlotte. All of that just kind of to give you an idea of like who I am, what my background is, and sort of an idea a little bit of some of the people and places that I have resources to. So if there are times that you are interested in doing more stuff outside of the school, I have connections with people who used to work in Ballantine. I actually went to college with the vice president of education over at the Blumenthal, and worked closely and am friends with several of the people over at the Blumenthal. I know people at NCTC. I know people at SETC. I have people that I can talk to if I don't know the answers to something or if you want to get involved with something. So that's kind of what I'm throwing out there is as you are moving into wanting to do more honors level classes, I want you to know that there are more resources than what we just have here. So typically I find that a lot of people in the honors classes want to go into some artistic field, potentially in the performing arts. I want to make sure that you have the resources available for that, right? I want to set you up for success, be that tech, be that acting, be that directing, be that theater education, be that a teaching artist, be that arts administration, whatever that is. So I'm going to pull up a slideshow for the evening, boop, and oh no, I gotta do the share my screen first. Sorry. Been a minute. Share, there we go. Yes, share my screen. There we go. So, first and foremost, let's see, can I minimize that? Yeah. So first and foremost, what you're gonna see is on the tab, it's what are our honors courses. So proficient theater, advanced theater, independent study, musical theater, the second level of musical theater. I don't know why it boogered up there. It should say proficient musical theater and advanced technical theater. So musical theater and technical theater have an entry level class that is an intermediate level class. Intermediate classes are not considered honors courses. However, the next tier up, proficient or advanced, those are honors courses. So the idea is that the first year that you take musical theater, it is not an honors course, but the second year it is. Same for tech. So proficient and advanced theater, proficient theater comes after intermediate theater, and then advanced comes after proficient. Then independent study you may have heard called practicum. We have shifted that terminology so that now it is independent study. Gives us a lot more leeway on what we can do with that. And I'll talk about that in a moment. Here's that, I should have been showing this slide at the same time as I was yakking on about myself, but so this is my information. I'm going to email this slideshow or a link to this slideshow along with a link to the video to everybody so that way, if you need this, those resources are right there. And again, it tells you some of the places that I am currently working. Well, except for the Ballantyne Arts Center because they are dead. All right, so an agenda, what we are covering tonight. Honors courses, just kind of talked about that. We'll go in a little bit more. We're going to talk about the Backstage Bulls, which are boosters. We're going to talk about our 2022-2023 season. Don't get too excited. I'm not naming any shows. I'll tell you some of the things that I'm considering if you want, but we haven't nailed anything down yet. The North Carolina Theater Conference, NCTC, Theater Conference Play Festival. The NCTC College Discovery Day, the International Thespian Society, or ITS, and Drama Club, the new independent study class. I want to go into a little bit more detail with that in its own little section. The 2023 American High School Theater Festival, or AHSTF, Scotland Fringe Festival trip. And finally, the question and answers at the end. So, get trucking. Honors. What makes it an honors credit? So as I mentioned, what the different levels of honors were, the big thing that makes an honors credit versus a beginning or an intermediate credit is there is a mandatory involvement in formal productions. In intermediate, I have had students that sort of pump the brakes and find out that this is not for them, and I give them alternative assignments. By the time you get to an honors level course, that's not an option anymore. If you are taking a performance honors level class, you will be performing. That is a massive chunk of the grade, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you are an advanced tech theater class, you will be doing tech for a show. So that's sort of the idea. You will be doing either performance, design, writing, or directing. The ultimate idea is that you are going to be involved in formal productions that we put on in front of a live audience, a live paying audience. So that's really what distinguishes an honors course in theater from a non-honors course. Per the State Board of Education, this is a little jargon from there, the essential point of this is that every class that you take gives you quality points. And an honors course counts as 0.5 more towards your grade. So you can read that lengthy jargon if you want. I'm not going to say it at you. I'm just going to give you the Cliff Notes version. If you want to go back and really pour through that, you're more than welcome to. But basically what that looks like is this. So the normal grading scale, a 90 to 100, gives you 4.0. So if you get a 90 to 100 on all of your classes, you would have a 4.0. If you get 80 to an 89, that's a 3.0, 70 to 79 is a 2.0, 60 to 69 is a 1.0, and of course less than a 59, you have a 0 grade average. The honors scale just means that that's a 0.5 added. So for an honors course, if you get a 90 to 100, it is a 4.5 instead of a 4. So when they are adding together all of your course credits and then dividing it by the number of courses that you took to find out what your GPA is, the honors credits count as 0.5 more. So that's kind of in terms of does an honors credit mean, that's what it means. Any questions on any of that? Cool. Moving on from honors courses, the Backstage Bulls. So our incredibly supportive parents of HRHS Theater Stars, the Backstage Bulls are essentially our boosters. We try to not use the term boosters because people get scared. People start going, I heard that's like having a second job. And when you are talking about a, almost $100,000 program like the band, yes, that is the case. Being the treasurer for the band is essentially like having an accounting job, a second small accounting job. For the theater, that's not the case. We typically do not get, I think the most we've ever had in the budget was something around 14,000. So I don't know that we've ever broken 20,000. So it's not nearly as much to take in. We don't tend to do much in terms of what needs to be coming in or going out besides our productions. And a lot of that is me saying, hey, I need this. And the booster saying, yeah, that's cool. And then we order it. So the Backstage Bulls assist with concessions, ticket booth, build days, cast parties, chaperoning, donating materials, and then some of the bureaucratic stuff that we need, like treasurer, that kind of thing. There will be an informational interest meeting on April 25th at 7 p.m. online. I'm going to give your contact information to our Backstage Bulls president, which is Miss Carrie Whitehead, who is in the audience. Hi. She is then going to email that out to all of the parents of people that are involved in honors courses, so that that way you can hopefully attend that meeting. If you do not get an email from her prior to April 25th, you can email her directly using that email. You also can use this QR code to fill in a form. This form is also on my webpage on the Backstage Bulls tab, or once you get this emailed, this whole slideshow emailed out to you, you can click that link. So I just tried to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to get to this. Yes. 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 So if you came to 24-hour Theater Fest, I did include that QR code in that program. It is the same QR code. Excellent catch. Yes, thank you. So if you already did that, you don't have to do it again. And again, this gives you the opportunity to tell us what you're interested in helping out with, so that that way you don't have to, be like, I'm available to donate stuff, but I work 2 jobs and I really cannot make time commitment stuff. We wouldn't be hitting you up for that if you fill out this code and tell us specifically that you're interested in donating stuff, but not able to come in. So the Backstage Bulls, legitimately, we could not do the things that we do here without them. The number of things that they help with is incalculable. We have, I believe I totaled it up. It is something along 10 performances a year generally, which is more than any other school in the county. And the Backstage Bulls manage tickets and concessions and sometimes flowers for all of those. The Backstage Bulls, we have generally at least 2 field trips in the year. We have one to NCTC and we have one to the Bloomies. They help with chaperones for that. If we move on to another level of ad stuff as things are opening up and we want to go potentially see stuff at the Bloomies, go to the Ren Fest, that kind of thing, they assist with that in terms of getting us chaperones, because there is a state level that we have to meet in terms of, if I take this many students, I have to have this many chaperones. So the Backstage Bulls help with that. The cast party for the musical they assist with, fundraising they assist with, on build days they come in and they help build, or they provide tools, or they provide pizza and drinks. There's all kinds of different things that the Backstage Bulls do that helps us out. So if you're interested, we would love to have your involvement. And as the parent of an honors student, your student was probably going to be involved in a fair amount of theater stuff. So we would love to have you over here, get to know you, really make you part of the theater family. Any questions about that? Cool. Moving on. All right. So as I mentioned, there are a bunch of productions. So I've kind of laid it out in terms of what our 2022 to 2023 season, what it looks like. So when we start off coming back to school in late August, we will almost immediately jump into auditions for the fall cabaret. And one of the cool things that I've done here, if you're so inclined, is once you get the copy of this, I have actually linked to some of our past videos on our YouTube channel. So at any point, if you're interested, you can click some of these links to see examples of performances that we have done that would be that kind of thing. So the Fall Cabaret, both of our cabarets are a night of songs that the students select and rehearse, and then we help them get costumes, and then we do lighting, and it's a super fun night. Around the end of August, beginning of September, we will also have auditions for our NCTC festival shows. Those auditions will be both in class and after school, because we do 2 NCTC performance shows. So one will be in the proficient/advanced class. The other one is all after school. So that way people that cannot make the class because of scheduling conflicts or AP, classes that they had to take can still be involved with NCTC. But then my proficient/advanced are automatically going to NCTC. So there's another example there of some NCTC shows that we've taken in the past. November will be our fall one acts, which are generally student written and student directed, something around 10 minutes to 15 minutes long. I've been batting around this idea with the drama club officers. We may shift either our fall one acts or our spring one acts into an improv night. So a la Whose Line Is It Anyway? But I'll give you more details about that once we've made that decision. In December, we will do the 24-hour theater, which is kind of like the exact same show that we just had this past weekend, where on Friday night at 7 p.m., we get together, we separate people out into directors, playwrights, and actors, and then we send everybody home, and the playwrights have to write shows before 6 a.m. the next morning. Everybody shows up 7 a.m. on Saturday and rehearses, and then at 7 p.m. we perform the shows. Then in January, we have our proficient/advanced theater showcase. So the advanced/proficient or the proficient/advanced class, once they are done with NCTC in October, then they begin working on another performance, which they produce in January. So they do 2 shows. Then in February, we have the big spring musical. I do not know what we are doing yet. We are still figuring things out. As some of you may have heard, there's stuff going on in the musical area of Acre Ridge, in the choral area. If you're not sure about that, you can talk to me one-on-one. I don't want to spread too much information as I have only got a little bit myself. But with that sort of being in flux, we haven't made any strong decisions about musical just yet, about what musical we're doing. So in March, we do the spring cabaret. In April, we have the spring one act, which, as I said, might turn into an improv night. May gets busy. We have our directing/intermediate showcase, which is my directing class and my intermediate theater class are offered at the same time in the spring. The directors actually direct the intermediate students. They cast them in a show and work on that in class, which is then produced in May. Quick plug, that is our next performance that we have coming up here, and that is May 6th. May 6th is this year's directing showcase. We have 3 really cool shows, 2 that were written by students, 1 that was selected by a student director. Then in late May, we have our musical class showcase. So I have a musical theater class. They do a one-act musical every year, and that happens in late May. This year, we are doing Hunk Junior, which will be May 26th and 27th. Next year, I haven't selected that yet. So I will actually, one of those things is that I'm going to kind of let the musical theater class of this year have a heavy hand in selecting what next year's musical theater one act will be. Then next year, in June, we're going to have American High School Theater Festival auditions and rehearsals because next summer we are going to Scotland in July. So late July, early August, we will be going to Scotland, and we are going to be performing a show 5 times in Scotland, once outdoors on the Royal Mile and 4 times in a fringe festival play performance venue. So what that venue ends up being, we'll find out closer to the time. But the idea is that thank you so much. The idea is that we will be performing 5 times in Scotland. It's 2 weeks. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'll go more into detail once we get to that slide. Any questions about our 2022-2023 season? I wanted to point out the things that are specific to classes are simply the musical theater showcase, the directing/intermediate showcase, the proficient/advanced showcase in January, and 1 of the NCTC festival shows. All of the rest of those all of the rest of the things that we do are extracurricular outside of class. So all of the rest of those anybody can be involved in, and you can do on top of your the things that you'll be doing in your honors courses. And if you're interested in tech, those are the various different things that you can be involved with in terms of running a show, running lights for a show, designing for a show, etc. Right. So moving on to NCTC. NCTC, the North Carolina Theater Conference, the High School Play Festival program showcases more than 3,500 students. They have over 100 schools. They end up doing over 130 productions. The festival ends up taking people from all over North Carolina and letting them share. So this year, it was only one day. I believe that they are moving back into 2 days. So the idea is that in our advanced/proficient class, we will select a show that we will work on in class. We will cast, we will rehearse in the class period time. So you won't have to worry about a bunch of after school rehearsal for that performance for NCTC. And then what we do is we take that, we bundle up all of our set, and we take it to another venue somewhere in North Carolina, and we go with somewhere around 16-ish schools, and we go and we perform, and there are 16 performances between Friday and Saturday. And then they give awards. They select 2 schools from that weekend that then move on to the state level in Greensboro. It's really, really pretty cool. I'm going to let them sort of talk a little bit about that. Oh, hold on a second. Let me make sure for those people that are at home that you can actually hear this, because I know that that is, it's like a thing that I have to select where it's, okay, stop sharing my screen and then share my screen. Conclude, yeah. Thank you. Couldn't share sound, could you? Okay. Go to my thing and select. Well, got it. And then speakers, Realtek audio. There we go. So now, boom, there we go. All right. So then sharing the screen, bringing back up the slideshow, and then sharing this.
Absolutely moving.
A whole nother atmosphere.
Oh my gosh, I love it so friggin' much.
This is awesome.
It's just a positive environment.
And it's like energizing, so much bonding and love.
Nervous a little bit?
It's a confidence builder.
So the Play Festival is an opportunity for students and teachers to put together some of their best work, to showcase it in front of other students, to get some feedback from theater professionals who are adjudicators. And really the cool part about it, it's for them to celebrate the work that each other does.
The feeling of watching my peers perform on such a big stage, at such a grand scale, it's exciting. I like getting to celebrate other people's work.
Everybody's done something good, something worth note, something that's, I'm definitely glad I've seen everything so far.
I just love watching the other plays, honestly, and it's always been like a great experience.
My favorite thing my students get is they get to see that there are people out there who are just as weird as they are. Because we're kind of a weird bunch in the theater, and we only are comfortable really being ourselves inside of that theater bubble. And it's cool seeing those kids have the opportunity to interact with other kids, to not only see the work that they've done and celebrate the work they've done, but to see them outside of the theater, between shows, playing games, teaching each other new games, yelling and screaming like banshees out there, and just being excited to be around each other.
It really brings everyone together in a big community. It's really a lot of fun.
I'm pretty shy, so it's hard for me to talk to other people. But, you know, getting to know my peers a lot better, it's been a really great bonding experience for us.
Nice to meet so many amazing people here.
It was honestly probably one of the best days of my senior year so far.
I like to be able to meet the actors, and especially people who wrote their own show, get to meet the creators behind it.
There's so many cool people here, and I've never been at a place where everybody is so close friends, almost immediately.
We have a little family, so it's like hanging out with them all the time.
It is such an amazing experience, and the students love it, and the teachers love it.
We love you, and we love everything here.
I had so much fun. Thanks, guys. I love this so much.
a little bit about NCTC sort of in their own words.
Absolutely.
So the NCTC timeline. So again, this is if you are in the proficient/advanced theater class. Also, there will be one performance that is all after school. So right around that exact same time will be when we do whatchamacallit, the after school one. So the auditions will be the second week of school. The rehearsals, actually, I just talked to, oh yeah, no, that one's correct. Our rehearsals are going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays from 2:30 to 5 o'clock for the after school rehearsals. So if you want to be in the show that is in class and you're registered for proficient/advanced, all of your rehearsals, except for the dress rehearsals, will be in class and you don't have to worry about anything. If you want to be involved in the production that is after school, those rehearsals will be Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays from 2:30 to 5. It's specifically set up that way because that way we don't conflict with band, because marching band is Monday, Wednesday, if I remember correctly. So we have a lot of crossover. So that's something that we set up to make sure that you can be in marching band and be in the after school NCTC performance if you are so inclined. The HRHS shows, so the shows when we perform them here, will be October 20th, 21st, and 22nd at 7 p.m. So we'll do both shows. We'll do the one that the class does, do an intermission, and then we'll do the one that the after school group does. Then All County is sometime in mid-October at West Cabarrus. We don't know exactly when that will be just yet. The county, we haven't had our All County PLC date yet. So once we do, then we'll sort of get together and decide when that All County Day is. But basically, we do a mock NCTC competition day at West Cabarrus with all of the other Cabarrus high schools in the area that participate. So we all go over to West Cabarrus with Annie Boger over there. It's not Annie Boger anymore. Her married name is something different. Anyway, so we all go over there and we treat it just like a regular NCTC competition. And in fact, we get adjudicators who have done NCTC adjudicating before to come in and give us mock adjudication as well. So it's a really fantastic way for us to get prepared for NCTC. There's no awards, it's just for fun, but it's also for incredible feedback so that way we can get prepped for our festival days, which will be either October 28th and 29th, or November 4th and 5th. It will be one of those two Friday, Saturdays. We don't know which yet because registration happens in July/August. So we have to register to be a part of NCTC by, actually we need to do that by early June. And then in August, we have the day where we can register for our sites. We pick our first, second, third choices, and then their computer jumbles everybody around and figures out who gets to go when on what dates. So as soon as I've got that information for you, I will set that in concrete. And then if we've done it once before, nothing saying we can't do it again. If we were to win our site and then go on to the regional level at Greensboro College, that would be November 18th and 19th. So that is the NCTC Festival. Are there any questions about that?
Assuming they go back to 2 days, is that typically close by, so it's just 2 full days, or does it end up being an overnight?
I have not had to do an overnight in about 8 years now. No, longer than that, 9 years. So I generally manage to get us pretty close so that it's maybe an hour and a half drive. But no, I don't like to do overnight if I can at all help it. It's a completely different can of worms and forms that you have to fill out. I would much rather go there, come back, go and come back. Again, all data is pointing to that they are going to make it a 2-day affair again this year. So I'm excited for that because it means we get to see more shows. All right, so let me talk a little bit about College Discovery Day after letting these guys talk about College Discovery Day first.
College Discovery Day, the best way I can phrase it, it's like a buffet, but with colleges. because you just sample everything. Everyone's there, everyone's super nice, and you can audition, you interview, you show your portfolio. Everything's just a huge hodgepodge of amazing things.
It was really fun, but when it came to audition, it really helped me go through my process as an actor, like preparing for the audition.
I got way more callbacks than I thought I was going to get. I got a good amount, and I got my face out there, and I still talk to some people I met at College Discovery Days, including like heads of faculty from other universities who like bump into me, and they're like, "Oh, I remember you," and so that's really cool and fun to kind of get your name out there.
I got to meet many colleges, and I loved my interview. I had 8 callbacks. It was just a great feeling to know that there's colleges out there who want me, and it was just overall amazing.
College Discovery Day was an exciting experience for me because it's just like getting to look at all the colleges and so many options to choose from. It was a great experience.
You never really know what you can do unless you don't know your options. You don't even know, you can't really know what you want if you don't know the full scope of what you can have. And so by going there, you'll see all these people who are genuinely interested in you.
I went to College Discovery Day since my sophomore year of high school. I went all 3 years. It was wonderful. You absolutely have nothing to lose. You go, you audition, you practice auditioning, and then you get feedback from some of the professors and directors from the colleges. It's such a cool opportunity. I didn't even know it existed until I went to Play Festival, and I'm so glad I went.
I won't make you continue to watch all of them just sort of walk around. But
College Discovery.
So College Discovery Day is, as the one put it, it's like a buffet but colleges. So the idea is that NCTC gets together pretty much all of the heavy hitting theater programs from colleges in the North Carolina region, a little bit of South Carolina. And they bring them all together in one place and they make a day of it. And so the people from those programs will meet with people and talk with you and give you information about their college, but they also will give you the opportunity to interview and show a portfolio if you're a tech, or audition if you are an actor. And a lot of times, those colleges will then offer you a scholarship on the spot. It is a fantastic way to get some scholarship offers. There's just no other way to get offers like that for theater people. It is an incredible resource. And as the one girl mentioned, it doesn't just have to be your senior year. Typically, they will not offer you scholarships in your junior year, but they'll give you some really great feedback about what you did well and what you might want to work on. So that way, when you go to do it in your senior year, you're not panicking because you've kind of done it once before and already gotten feedback on how to do it better the next year. There's also, you don't even have to, you can just go and talk. So I'm going to break down sort of, that is November 19th this year at Greensboro College. If you are interested in doing an audition or a portfolio with the schools, that is $65. And if you just want to go and be able to like get program pamphlets and talk to some of the admissions people, but like the theater side of the admissions people, that's $35. And then parents who want to come with their student, that's $10. And all of that is available on NCTC's webpage. Those, so that you know that is full, yet they have not opened that up. I will tell you, I think the way that they do it, they also offer scholarships for the audition/portfolio track to 2 acting students and 2 tech students from every site. So when you perform at your venue for your, one act competition show, if you are one of the outstanding tech or outstanding actors, they actually give you a scholarship to go to College Discovery Day and audition or show your portfolio. And if you have already ordered tickets, I believe they refund the tickets at that point. So you have nothing to lose by registering early. And then if you get one of those scholarships, then you're set. We have had, I think it's one tech and one actor win those in the past. So it is totally a possibility. This is a fantastic resource. If this is what you are thinking you may want to do with your life, I would highly recommend College Discovery Day. And one of the best things about the audition and the portfolio track, I don't have a slide for SETC because SETC is a much more niche kind of thing. SETC is the Southeastern Theater Conference. If you win at Greensboro, your play actually goes on to SETC. We have not done that yet, so I didn't include that data because, you know, why tempt it if we haven't done that yet? Let that be a surprise. But SETC is fantastic because it does a lot of this same kind of stuff, but for all of the Southeast. So it's Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina. I think that might be it. It might include Virginia, Tennessee. I'm not 100% certain. Oh, no, it does include Tennessee. I do know that for a fact because they're having it in Tennessee this year, or they just had it in Tennessee. SETC as an individual is a little bit more expensive. It's somewhere in the realm of $100, $200 to register for. If it's your senior year and you really do want to go into this field, let me give you information about SETC early on in the year because you want to become an SETC member and then register for SETC. I don't believe it's going to be in North Carolina this coming year. So you'll need to figure out transportation and, you know, where you want to stay and all that. But SETC does the same kind of thing where you can audition for colleges. But in addition, SETC has a ton of theater programs that are hiring people for the summer. So if you've ever been to Cherokee and seen Under These Hills, or you've ever gone to Wilmington and what's their summer stock theater called? I can't remember off the top of my head, but if you've ever gone and seen a summer stock theater where they bring in actors and do performances over the summer, and those actors are paid, a lot of those actors get cast at SETC. So if that is something that you are interested in as you're moving into your from your senior year to college, it is definitely something that I'll give you information about. Yeah.
As it relates to
yes.
programs here program allow resources for parents to make sure that materials that the student needs are properly archived so that they have this information handy.
Yep. So the portfolio is actually stuff that we start collecting in the tech theater class. As we are designing stuff, we look at how you do a tech portfolio. I actually have a student right now, Rohan Chimberkar, who is working on his portfolio for the Blumenthal because he may end up being nominated as our student scenic designer for Spamalot. So he's taken tech theater, so he kind of has some, we've talked about how to set up portfolios before, so he's got some knowledge on that. But yes, it's typically when you do a portfolio like this, at least at NCTC, what they've done in the past is they don't want to see, unless it's changed, they don't want to see a comprehensive book of your work. They want to see an example from a show. So what I would be doing in the tech theater class is showing you how to do that so that then that way, as we work on shows, you can be collecting that. Yep, absolutely. And great question. Thank you. All right, so moving out of NCTC into our International Thespian Society and Drama Club. Drama Club is our International Thespian Society. We use that time for the exact same thing. The International Thespian Society is the only recognized international honor society for high school theater art students, and it is internationally recognized. So if you're a card-carrying ITS member, that you are a card-carrying ITS member the world over. What does that get you? Well, in Cabarrus County, it can get you discounted tickets. So if you, for whatever reason, are not involved in a show here, you can come in and see it for free if you are an ITS member. You just show your card and you get in. At other schools in Cabarrus County, it can get you free tickets or at least discounted tickets to see their shows. So being in ITS and having that card is great for that. It's also an honors club, so we do some community service stuff. Typically, we work with the Arts Council and work on the Art Walk, volunteer for some events around, and then at the end of your high school career, you get an honors cord for International Thespian Society, which is a really cool blue and gold cord. It looks fantastic on transcripts and resumes. It's another just, feather in your bonnet. So how does ITS work? It's pretty simple. You come to drama club and you say, I'm interested in ITS. And then at a certain point, we have you pay the registration fee one time. And then in June, this year it's June 2nd, we have an International Thespian Society induction ceremony where we induct our new members. You have to have achieved 10 points. There are forms that I will be giving out in drama club this next meeting, which the officers are setting up. So I'll give you that date. I'll push it out to our social media. Those points are earned by doing tech on productions, performing at productions, being in productions outside of here, or even going and seeing productions. So if you go and see Hamilton at the Blumenthal, or you go and see Little Shop of Horrors at West Cabarrus, or you come here and you see Spamalot, and you write out a review of that show, bring it in, that's worth points. So once you get to 10 points, which is remarkably easy to do, being involved in a musical pretty much nets you 8 points. So many people managed to get their ITS membership this year. 10 points get you in, and then there are tiers beyond that that net you stars, which are neat, but really the key element is just being an ITS member at 10 points. And again, really it's good for, there's also a magazine subscription that they give you as part of that for 1 year when you first register. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There are a few scholarships that ITS does through EdTA, which is the Educational Theater Association. I will say that they ebb and flow in terms of like what they're doing. There's a lot of upheaval going on with them at the moment, but the key element is the card, which gets you discounted tickets. It's the cord for being in an honor society, and it's being able to have it on your resume/transcript when you're looking at applying to theater programs in college. Any questions about ITS or drama club? Yeah, Anna. Honk will count as, probably will do like a half and half. So somewhere between a one act and a musical, because it's both. So I believe a musical is 8 points and a one act is like 4 points. So I may give Honk like 6 points. So cool. Moving on. We are going to have at our next drama club meeting the voting for our next drama club officers for next year. So here are the roles for our drama club officers. Our president, who's responsible for sort of heading up meetings, they're responsible for scheduling, they're responsible for helping get fundraisers, they're responsible for a whole lot. But that's kind of the sort of the nitty-ditty, the cliff notes. The vice president's responsible for all the duties for the president in their absence, kind of like this year. Our president, unfortunately, is no longer attending, so our vice president stepped up and is now the president. So that's the vice president is there in case there's scheduling stuff, which does tend to be pretty common. So it's just good to have that sort of backup plan with the vice president. Also, the vice president and the president can like share duties as they want. It's like, hey, can you handle this while I do this? It's great for that. Our secretary/clerk is responsible for taking notes/minutes during our meetings, so then that way those can be posted to our social media. And then they're also responsible for collecting and tallying points from the students and then submitting those to me so that I can approve them. The social media manager, this role I work to death. The social media manager is responsible for posting all of our social media stuff because I'm inept at social media. So this person has to be really good at Instagram and Facebook at the least, and really know like how to format those so that they're eye-catching. The historian is responsible for taking pictures and creating slideshows. So our pre-show slideshows, that's the historian, also taking pictures and then giving that to the social media rep so that they can use those in our social media. That's all the historian's job. And then finally, the production manager is essentially a liaison between our productions and the Backstage Bulls. So, and also the social media manager. Basically, the production manager should be involved at least occasionally with every single production that we do, so that way I can tell the production manager things that we need to reach out to our community/Backstage Bulls to get. So for example, if I need, let's say, as was the case a couple years ago before we closed down, I needed a bathtub. Which you're like, yeah, of course you need a bathtub. It's The Little Mermaid. There's a sequence where she's in a bathtub. Cool. So I needed a bathtub. But buying a bathtub is really expensive. And you don't just typically find bathtubs at Goodwill. So we had our production manager put out to everybody, does anybody have a bathtub? So that's the kind of thing that the production manager does, is help us get things that we need that we may not have easy access to. So I mention all of this because if you have got your 10 points and can be inducted this in June, then that means that you are eligible to be an officer as well. So if you are interested in the officer roles, I will tell you that the president and the vice president are relegated to seniors. Those have to be seniors, but the rest of them are not required to be seniors. So, any questions about International Thespian Society/Drama Club officers? Cool. Independent study, a flexible honors course. So this is really cool. It used to be called Practicum, and it was just directors. That has changed, and I'm super excited about it because we can do pretty much anything we want with it. So if you want to direct, I could pair you with the intermediate class, like I've done in the past, but you might say, hey, Sully, actually, I want a student direct one of the NCTC shows. And I might go, actually, you've done a really good job with that kind of stuff so far. So yes, let me put you at the same class period as advanced/proficient, but you're going to be in independent study instead, and you're going to be a student or assistant director. Maybe you were like, I actually want to assistant direct the musical for like the one-act musical for musical theater. I can put you in there. So it's really cool and flexible, and I'm, again, super excited about it. Let's say that you're like, I want to design. I want to make the set designed for some of the shows. Or I want to make the costume designs. I want to do the makeup. I want to do, maybe I want to be the choreographer for whatever we do that's not Honk Junior next year. You can say, hey, Sully, that's what I want to do. And we can talk and make sure that we've got a plan for it, and then get you into independent study and set it up so that you're in the same class period as whatever would most benefit that. So, for example, if you're like, I really want to be the costume designer for our spring musical, I might be like, fantastic, I'm going to put you in tech theater, but you're going to be an independent studies student. And while the other tech students are learning how to like chop wood and build set pieces, you're going to be building the costumes for our spring musical. So yeah, and then writing. If let's say that you wanted to do specifically playwriting, let's say that you wanted to write one of our NCTC shows. Let's say that you wanted to write the spring showcase for Proficient/Advanced. Let's say that you wanted to potentially, you had an idea for a one-act musical and you wanted to write the one-act musical for the musical theater class. We could pair you with that and we can get that done. So if you are interested in being something other than the traditional stuff that we've got, something that you really feel a specific calling, talk to me and we can work on getting that as an independent study class. It is quite obviously an honors credit because you're going above and beyond and really honing in on a specific aspect of the theater and really tackling some big stuff. Now, just as fair warning, this is incredibly intensive, right? If you decide, hey, I want to playwright for XYZ, there's no backing out at the last minute. We gotta have a script. If you're like, I want to design the costumes for, they gotta wear something. So you gotta make sure that, so letting you know ahead of time, it is, you become an integral part of whatever it is you end up getting paired with based on what your interest was. So it is, there's a lot of pressure on it, but also there is a lot that you can do and get some phenomenal experience. So again, I'm super excited about this. There is, what I've done here is I've also, much like on our schedule, our season, I've also included links here to some stuff that people have done in the past, just as examples. This was not an independent study, but here's sort of like the example of like things that you might start doing as you're looking at, like, what would it be like for me to be an independent study and want to do costumes? You might create a design plot like this, but then actually start implementing it, making those costumes, finding those costumes, altering costumes, etc. And then I've got a video of one of our directing students' showcases, and then writing, I've got a video of something that a student wrote multiple years ago that we actually took to NCTC. So if you want to watch those, you are more than welcome to. I'm not going to do it now because we need to move on, as I need to wrap this up here shortly. This is a video about Edinburgh for AHSTF. So again, the AHSTF is the American High School Theater Festival. We've been selected. We're one of 20 schools that will be going to Scotland in 2023 for the Scottish Fringe Festival in Edinburgh. There will be at roughly at the Fringe Festival 3,269 shows from potentially around 49 different countries. We'll have 4 performances. The idea is that it does cost a little shy of $7,000. Those payments can start now so that they're broken down into much more manageable chunks because you have over a year to pay at this point. We also are doing fundraising through our shows, and we're working on adding in more ways to fundraise. For example, we just, for 24-hour Theater Fest and for our spring cabaret, we took all of that money and we're putting it towards the Scotland trip. So everybody that's currently registered, we're going to give that money to AHSTF and say, evenly divide that. So we're working on helping with that cost for those that really need that. But it is absolutely incredible that we're getting to do that. And it's sightseeing and it's performances and it's just the fact that we're getting to do it is insanely cool. A lot of people get to go to like, trips to here and there, but this is an international trip. And on top of being an international trip, it's an international trip where you are not just observing, you're participating. We will be taking a performance there and we'll be not just a one-off, not just a quick portion, four different performances in our own venue. It is absolutely incredible. So timeline for that, the June, we will audition and rehearse through July, have a home performance in July, and then Scotland, travel and perform. We leave July 30th and return August 12th, 2023. So what's included in that? Travel, so round flight airfare, 2 nights London, 10 nights Edinburgh. So your hotel, obviously, also the bus, and then the tour bus as we go around both London and Edinburgh. Food, they pay for breakfast every day and then lunch or dinner each day. So it's 2 meals a day is covered. Shows, they give you passes to all of the other AHSTF shows and ICTF, which I believe is the college version, Fringe Festival shows. So you get to go see a bunch of different shows at the Fringe. And then sightseeing, they take you to all kinds of different castles and different cool places and go see performances. Like they mentioned the tattoo, which is not that we're going to go get Scottish tattoos. So don't worry, parents. The tattoo is actually the dance. So it's dancing. So we'll go to get to see traditional Scottish dancing, all kinds of cool stuff. And you get a Blue Badge guide with you the entire time. The Blue Badge guide, when I went last year for the sort of like, here's what it's going to be like, sort of, because it wasn't during Fringe Festival because the world had closed down. But our Blue Badge guide was insanely knowledgeable and she was super fun and like she's one of my favorite people now. So if you're interested, this QR code you can scan, but also I've got a link right there. It'll take you to the World Strides sign up link for that, and it gives you even more detail. Also, if you go to my webpage, there is a tab specifically for AHSTF, and there is an hour-long video from our first informational meeting, which you can watch on your own time. I'm not going to go too much into detail because, as I said, I need to start wrapping up. But all of that information is included if you are interested. All right, that brings us to questions. Yes.
You mentioned before that there are auditions for the advanced class, right?
Okay, so to get into the class, actually, I may have cheated and used your auditions in musical theater class as your auditions. So that's one of the things that I can do is I can utilize your auditions from multiple things to get you into those classes. So yes, that you're already good.
Cool, because I was about to ask when those are.
So it's sort of a one-on-one basis for people as they want to come in. But if they're in one of my classes that requires auditions already, I tend to use those auditions to be like, yes, absolutely. Or like, maybe they need to do an audition with me after this because they're still growing.
And also for the independent study class.
Yes.
With registration already over, would there be doing that for next year, or is that?
Yep, you can, well, but also you can do schedule changes.
Yeah.
Like, so long as we're doing it now and we're not doing it in August when they get really ticky. Yes. So if that's something you're interested in, shoot me an email. I would say talk to me in person as well, but definitely shoot me an email. That's the bestest one because then I have a tangible thing to remind me that I need to set up a date to sit and talk with so-and-so about an independent study and sort of give me a pitch in that email. So we like to call that in the business an elevator pitch, because it's the idea that you step into the elevator with the person and you've got maybe 30 seconds to sort of sell them on your idea before the elevator doors will open up and they walk off. So give me your elevator pitch on what it is that you might be interested in. So I would like to design this for this because I've got these kinds of ideas and et cetera, et cetera. Cool. Are there any other questions? I know I covered a lot. If you have any other questions that pop up in your noggin between now and, let's say, you know, on the drive home as you're talking, or, you know, you're making dinner tonight, all of my information is right there. A link to my website. There's my phone number with my extension. I'll let you know that that's not a great way to get a hold of me always. I have first period planning, which means that I'm more available to talk from 7:15 until 8:30, 8:40-ish. But the rest of the time I'm working with students and I tend to be in here a lot. So if you call, you'll most likely get the voicemail. And my voicemail doesn't always actually figure out how to like let me know that I have voicemails. So emailing is the best method. If you want to talk to me, you can call. It's really great if you schedule something with me, because that makes sure that I know. And we could do a Teams, we could do a phone call, we can do, I had a couple of parents come in, it was 2 weeks, no, maybe 3 weeks ago, and we just had a really nice chat on a teacher work day about, you know, where they wanted to go, what they wanted to do with their student, and sort of like students' direction and what resources I had for them. So I'm always available for that kind of stuff. If you shoot me a line and let me know what your schedule looks like, we can figure something out. And I love having parent-teacher conferences and giving resources and sort of talking about that kind of stuff. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, I have a feedback link. If you are here in person, I actually have a tangible one if you prefer analog, but I also have the QR code right there. Or if you are currently in the, oh, no, go back. People are using it. If you are currently in the Teams meeting, you should be able to click that link. If not, I will put it in the chat in just a second. Cool. Oh, right. Then what I would ask is, if you are in the if you're in the Teams meeting, if you would scan that QR code to give me feedback, or once I email this out, if you would give me some feedback that way. This is for me to have and use, and to sort of hone my skills as far as meetings like this are concerned, because you know, I rambled on for about an hour, which I apologize for. But it helps me, and then also it gives me more resources. So yeah, I will stop sharing my screen and get back to the folks. So if there are no other questions, I'd like to thank you all so much for attending tonight. It is 7:05, so it's about 5 minutes later than I had wanted to get you out, but we had a lot to cover. So basically, the point that I really want to hammer home is the next year is a huge year for us. There's a lot going on, and as an honors student, there are more opportunities next year than I think I have ever had. So it is a fantastic year to be in the theater. I'm super excited, and yeah, I wanted you to know and have now, so that you could be thinking and planning and sort of road mapping that out. Thank you all so much, and I'll see some of you guys tomorrow, and if I don't see you between now and then, have yourselves a fabulous spring break. Yeah!
Bye.
Rocket applause. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I need a water. All right, thank you, online people.
Yeah, bye.